Kevin Palau. Kevin, we've been at the Amplify conference. We heard and saw a video from your dad. Actually ended with the phrase "God bless you, I'll see you in heaven." Really kind of moved a lot of us. How's your dad now?
You know, as those that saw the video could see, he's still Luis Palau.
Yeah.
So he's, in fact, some people came up and said, wow, I mean, compared to what I kind of had in my mind, you hear stage 4 lung cancer, you kind of maybe think someone that's like, is that Luis Palau?
Yeah.
He's got the same joy and passion.
I think he could take me in a fight. I mean, he probably has a unique set of skills.
Maybe. He's got, I
How old?
haven't seen him yet, 83.
84
in November. But no, he's enjoying his relationship with Christ, enjoying the family. For the first time in 50 years for sure, he's never had like a month without being on a plane traveling for the gospel. So to have 7 months and counting at home, the positive is great time with the family and with the grandkids.
Nice.
And using his evangelistic gifts in non-big public proclamation stages. But he's doing well and getting ready for the last lap.
Yeah. Well, we're praying for him and appreciate what's going on with the Luis Palau Association.
Well, thankfully, our whole succession planning was done a few years ago with me as president and CEO and my younger brother, Andrew.
Do you call him your younger brother all the time? I like that.
I do.
The kid.
Exactly, the kid. Exactly. He's 52, but he's younger.
Yeah.
So he has a great gift of evangelism,
right.
often just using his own story of at 27 coming to the Lord.
Yeah.
So thankfully, the work of our type of big festivals in cities continues. We do about half a dozen of those a year. And then, of course, part of the partnership here at Amplify is we have a great relational network of about 700 other wonderful evangelists that have their own ministries, but we just find real value in encouraging each other, lifting each other up, in some cases partnering together in collaborative campaigns. And so as we look to the future, we're looking at things like, could we take a relational network of those with this particular gift of evangelism that's mostly U.S. for us right now, and try to get in 150 other countries, meaning just trying to identify and find those that have that special gift and also though a heart for collaboration and not kind of a selfish competitive mentality, but a sense of we need each other as evangelists. So that's part of what we do. And then we have this idea of encouraging unified city gospel movements.
Sure, love that.
Portland's a good example of a place where
example.
Several hundred churches are actively working together in a very unchurched, quirky, largest naked bike ride in the world place.
Yeah, I could have done that picture.
I know.
You don't participate in that,
I know.
right?
I don't. I always make that very clear.
It's good. It's probably for the best for all of us.
When I say we, meaning
Portland, it's a collective, but not an individual.
It's not an individual thing.
It's for the best.
But there's an encouragement from seeing the church in Portland really collaborating together, wanting to both love and serve and joyfully proclaim the gospel. So that lots of cities are
you're doing
experiencing
Grand Rapids. Now tell us more when Grand Rapids is coming up.
September 8-9 is the actual festival part of Grand Rapids.
Awesome. But it's of course lots before, and the reason I know particularly about Grand Rapids is I was supposed to be there, and then they had Mr. Graham's funeral on that very day, and so graciously you guys released me from that, but I think half your speakers left that day because we all were going down to the funeral.
Exactly. I think in the end it was still a wonderful time. In fact, I think we had 7,000 people for a kind of a renewal service of preparation with Francis Chan and my brother Andrew and Phil Wickham. So when you have 7,000 people, believers, praying and getting together from over 500 different churches in West Michigan saying, we need each other, we need to stand together for the gospel in how we love and graciously serve people and in how we extend ourselves to share the good news verbally, because preach the gospel at all times when necessary, use words as fighting words.
Yeah, we don't say those things.
Yeah.
That's right. And neither did St. Francis say those things. And anyway, it's really bad theology. So back to focus here. So last 20 years, you've been around doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Does it feel like it's changed the context, the culture? Specifically talk about North America, because we're recording in English.
Yeah, I would say for North America, living in Portland, Oregon, I would say we've probably felt the changes slightly differently, or maybe not quite as radically, because we've already been in the whole time.
You've been living in the future.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. I say kind of tongue in cheek to people in other parts of the country, this is what the rest of the country is probably going to look like. I say kind of barring God doing something miraculous. Portland is what the country is looking like.
Probably.
Fairly radically unchurched, fairly confident of why I am not a Christian.
Right.
for many people.
Yeah.
So I think the positive of that, though, is that it really forces you as a Christ follower to say, what do I really think and what believe?
Mm-hmm.
I think it forces the church, local congregations, to really recognize we desperately need each other. We can't afford to just do our own thing, let alone compete with each other, because the people that are outside the church could care less about the nuances. They just want to know, is there something different about you? Is there something that you actually believe, and are you engaged in making this a better place because you actually believe that there's a future for individuals, but also for our city long term? So I think it's an encouraging time. A lot of young, thriving churches that are joining together with older churches, and it's a sweet time. So the question was have I seen things change? In Portland, it's been a change for the better in the sense that the church is actively working together, building trust with our very progressive city leaders that originally could have cared less about us. Now they see you're a valuable part of the community, we need you.
That's great.
Now, will that lead to clear gospel sharing? That's the question for the evangelist.
Sure.
It's wonderful to do these things. It's kingdom building work. But without more and more believers then feeling empowered and confident to say, this is the hope that is in me, I invite you to come join this great movement.
It's good. It's good. I love it. You said encouraged about Portland.
Yeah.
So let's talk about North America and the world, because you're engaged in both.
Yeah.
But in North America, we're deeply concerned about that Billy Graham Center, Lausanne, North America. Are you encouraged or discouraged, or maybe in what ways are you encouraged? What ways are you discouraged?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I tend to be a glass half full kind of person.
I like those kind of people.
Almost and hopefully not in a way that comes across like, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
Like, what are you not seeing? I mean, I'm seeing discouragement, but I guess I would say without that vision of, the gospel movement began with 120 people that all spoke the same language, had no political clout or money, and because they were indwelt by the very Spirit of Jesus himself, they had that confidence to say it doesn't really matter what's happening externally. That's maybe a little pie in the sky, but I felt that more in this last year. So personally, I'm really, really encouraged to just think about, and certainly globally, I'm encouraged because just like in Portland, we kind of say like, wow, there's some churches that are thriving, and that encourages me as a church. Just, we're not doing so well, but you know what? Our movement's doing well. So same globally, it's like, we're not maybe at our high point here in North America, but wow, look at what God's doing in Asia and in Latin America and Africa, and trusting the Holy Spirit. I mean, ultimately, it's not up to us. I mean, it is and it isn't. We're part of building the kingdom. God uses us as individuals to share the good news, but to have that confidence that we are part of an unstoppable force for good, and the numbers do matter because it's individual people. But in the sense, like, to not get discouraged by some of these bigger trends. I mean, I think it gives a chance for the light to shine more brightly if we can avoid fighting over secondary kinds of issues. And that one thing that discourages me right now in North America would be the really bitter, hostile attacks back and forth all around political issues. And whatever side you feel about it, I would hope people would say the kingdom is more important than that, and therefore maybe take a step back and take a deep breath and think about what you say or tweet or your social media stuff. Is it going to help draw people closer to Christ, or is it going to just put people into these deep, sides where you can't even talk? And in Portland, we see that, I think, really, really clearly, because we can't get sucked into political discussions.
For sure.
It doesn't help us.
Yeah, so last question, we've got less than a minute. What strategies do you think are most effective today for gospel sharing?
It's funny. I don't think there's anything radically new, but I think it is a matter of equipping and challenging and encouraging the average believer to think more deeply about their role in evangelism. I think the gift of the evangelist needs to be lifted up as well. Not just the tiny minority that are public proclamation evangelists, but those with that gift. Every congregation, virtually every congregation, has people that have that gift. Right. So I think for pastors and leaders to look for those people and cultivate them, and say, God gave them that gift for the building up of the whole body. Your gift as a pastor may not be that, but there are people that the Holy Spirit's given.
Everyone's responsibility, but he's given the evangelist to help churches do that.
Help churches do it more effectively.
Don't think of that as somebody who comes into town. It could be someone sitting in your church.
Exactly. It will be someone sitting in your church that has that gift.